Are you concerned about what the Large Hadron Collider is doing? Yes. All right, guys, so as I'm sure you've heard by now, CERN is back up and running. They're smashing particles together again at near light speeds, and I've got a lot of thoughts on this issue. Thoughts that might surprise you, they might not. You know, I try to do my best to keep a fine balance between open-mindedness and cautious, optimistic skepticism, while at the same time, as you know, I cannot stand over-exaggerated clickbait. And so many of the takes that I'm seeing from personalities on the internet about CERN, I frankly think are full of a shitload of clickbait and full of over-sensationalized, frankly, fear porn. Okay? So I'm going to tell you why I think CERN is a big fat nothing burger. I'm going to tell you why I think they are not opening portals to hell or other dimensions or whatever the heck. And we'll go through actually a little bit of background about CERN to clarify some things, okay? So first of all, CERN is the name of the overarching scientific organization that they actually run a handful of particle accelerators. The largest and most well-known and the one that gets all sensationalized is called the Large Hadron Collider, or the LHC, okay? So a lot of people get those terms confused. They say CERN as if that's the name of the particle accelerator. No, it's called the LHC. CERN is the scientific organization that I think it was founded back in like the 60s or 70s or something like that. It's fairly older. But the Large Hadron Collider itself, this particle accelerator, was built and finished in 2008. And it was running for about 10 years. They shut it down in 2018. And now 4 years later, here we are, 2022, and they're firing it up again. So a little bit of background behind the money spent on the Large Hadron Collider. The LHC took CERN $5 billion to build. That's billion with a B in mid-2000s money. So, you know, inflation, do the math, probably a few more billion these days. It cost them, when it was running, $1 billion per year just to keep the lights on and the particles flying through it. $1 billion per year for all the electricity and the computational power, and to pay all the scientists and to pay off the land it's under as well. So a lot of money for this thing. A lot of money for this thing. All right? So let's talk a little bit about CERN, get some background on that, and background as to what their publicly stated goals are for the LHC. So CERN is a mainly European kind of multinational conglomerate, sort of like a UN, NATO sort of thing, but it's not run by the UN or NATO. It has 23 member states. You can see here pretty much all European states. Looks also like Israel is a member state, plus Greenland. So 23 mainly European member states. The US, the United States of America, is actually not a member state. They're given what's called observer status. So basically, they send over some scientists to help with the research and all that sort of stuff. But from what I understand, the United States actually does not send any money over to CERN. CERN is funded by these 23 member states. And like I mentioned, they actually have like a half dozen particle accelerators that they use. The most popular, of course, is the Large Hadron Collider that was running for 10 years, shut down for 4. Now it's running again. And on their website, on CERN's website, their stated goals for this Large Hadron Collider is to look for dark matter. Woo! Dark matter and dark energy. And they're smashing these particles together, trying to find smaller and smaller particles to search for this dark matter. BS. It's absolutely BS. All right? And what's funny is that even the experiments done with the Large Hadron Collider itself, let alone all the experiments and research done by alternative scientists and independent scientists from around the world, I mean, over and over again, they've continuously found that this dark matter, dark energy bullshit is exactly that. It's bullshit. It's basically just fake establishment science that they're guessing with. It's a giant guessing game, and they don't want to give it up. They don't want to give up these dark matter, dark energy ideas. Why is that? Because it keeps the grant money coming in, folks. You can liken that to, Big Pharma never wants to find a cure for cancer or these other degenerative diseases because the treatment of these diseases makes them trillions and trillions of dollars. So I think it's very similar when it comes to CERN and these particle accelerators, is that they don't want to admit that this whole standard model of physics, on CERN's website, they even have a page devoted to the standard model of physics. This standard model of physics is not, it's trash, folks. It's freaking trash. Yet, of course, like I said, we got all these universities and PhDs and people with ego up the ass that they don't want to admit that, we should probably redo our foundational theories. Maybe this standard model of particle physics is kind of garbage. Maybe we should stop dealing with materialistic reductionist science and look in terms of more energy, frequency, harmonics, these sorts of things. But no, they won't do that. They'll just stick with their particles, their materialism, and they do that because it keeps the bucks rolling in. It pays their bills, and they don't want to be the outcast. They don't want to be ostracized by the scientific community for thinking differently. So, quick tangent here. I understand. When it comes to CERN, you look at their logo, it looks like a 666. Yeah, I'm aware of that, joke, mock human sacrifice they did at CERN, and then the opening ceremony for it had all that sort of occultic looking symbology. Don't get me wrong, there's probably some weirdos that are a part of CERN or that had a hand in the creation of these particle accelerators and all that sort of stuff, right? But you can go to downtown San Francisco, go to New York, and you'll see a bunch of weird symbolism everywhere, right? It doesn't mean they're opening a portal to hell and they're gonna find another dimension and allow a bunch of demons in like freaking Stranger Things and all that sort of stuff. It does not mean that's the case. I don't think CERN is going to be opening a portal to anything. In fact, when I'm thinking of fun, true, real physics, real science that gets somewhere, that's one of the things that leads me to believe that CERN isn't going to do shit and it's a big nothing burger, is the fact that it's so public. It's so public. It's worldwide known. It's all establishment-based, right? It's just a big phantom they're chasing. It's a big ghost these guys are chasing with the standard model of physics stuff. I'm far more interested at what, for instance, the black projects are doing from the military-industrial complex and the U.S. military and these defense contractors. What are they doing in their secret underground facilities? And we can go back to the Montauk project, for instance. That is far more fun science to research, and I think they were looking at things in a much more realistic way than this standard model of physics, CERN, Large Hadron Collider sort of thing. So, point being is that I think the main goal of CERN is just to be a big freaking slush fund. Got to be honest. I think it's just a big slush fund that billions and billions of dollars every year are going to, and they don't want to admit that their physics is bunk because it keeps the billions rolling in by going with it, right? And not just the $1 billion per year that the Large Hadron Collider costs, but check this out. 2 years ago, CERN made a statement where they wanted to build another particle accelerator that's 8 times the size of the Large Hadron Collider and 6 times the price. Look at this. They want to build another super collider. This was 2 years ago. They announced this. That was 23 billion US dollars worth, 21 billion euro. And of course, the actual cost for it is probably going to run higher than that. So it's a big freaking money pit, folks. It's honestly probably a slush fund. And where is the rest of this money going, right? Where is it really going to? They want to build another giant super collider. It's just, they're chasing nothing. They're chasing nothing. Even today, we heard, the Large Hadron Collider physicists discover new exotic particles. Well, guess what? They're going to keep finding particles, and they're going to keep finding particles if they keep looking. But it's not going to prove dark matter, dark energy. It's not going to prove the standard model of physics. They're just going to keep finding smaller and smaller particles the bigger and bigger they build their accelerators. and it's still going to take them nowhere, absolutely nowhere, because they can't look at the foundational understanding of their physics, which is wrong. And in fact, funny enough, I got an email. I've been talking about CERN for a few years now and I've been consistent with my takes on it. It's just a big nothing burger based on false physics, fake science, and it's really taken them nowhere. I actually got an email from a CERN scientist like 3 months ago. This is what it said, "Hi, I've worked at CERN for a few years, and I think your takes on it have been quite good. It's more of a political and economic thing than it is about science. The administration and the physicists are aware that the standard model is broken beyond repair, but it makes it easier for them to justify their expensive existence." That's what the email said that I got from the CERN scientists. So, folks, I think in that, gives me more validation, gives me more confidence that my takes on this are closer than not. Closer, at least, than all the clickbaiters out there that think CERN is like going to create a black hole that's going to swallow us all up and open a portal to hell and all sorts of crazy shit. I don't even know. I can't even keep track with what people are saying about CERN these days. I am not concerned about it. I'm not worried about it. I don't think it's messing with our heads. I don't think it's going to open any dimensional portals and all that sort of shit. Honestly, if I want to go find a portal, I'll look at the Earth. I'll look at the Earth's ley lines. I'll go to places like the Bermuda Triangle or other places around the globe where very curious things take place, where intersections of the Earth's ley lines are. Portals could be more of a natural phenomenon than something a giant particle accelerator is going to find. And again, I think the more fun, realistic physics is being done in far more secret projects outside of the public domain, not in, CERN being in mainstream media articles and all over Wikipedia and all this sort of shit. No, the fun science is, I'm wondering what, for instance, Lockheed's been up to, Northrop Grumman and the Rand Corporation and these sorts of defense contractors. I could give two shits about CERN. So I think it's just a big money pit. Frankly, I would not be surprised if it was just a big slush fund. And I think a lot of the friggin' clickbait that these influencers and social media personalities are putting out there about CERN is just stoking the fear porn fires, and frankly, far less research than they claim it to be, and actually kind of irresponsible, being that it's scaring the crap out of people, which it shouldn't be. So anyway, that's my take on CERN, guys. You like it? You might not like it. I don't really care. That's just my opinions, my beliefs. And I think it's far more overblown than it needs to be. And that might be the boring take for you, but I think it's the more realistic take. And yeah, I'm not worried about this. I'm just not. And my friends, if you enjoy the reporting I do, go follow me on Locals. You can join my community there. You can make posts. You can interact with other people that are following there. I like Locals. Locals is a great place, great company as well. They don't censor anything, and they definitely support the people that are on it. So I'll leave a link down below in the description. Go follow me on Locals and support if you feel so inclined. I do appreciate it, and your financial support helps me to continue doing these videos and doing this social media shit stirring that I do. So much appreciated.